I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Who are you?
There's no excuse for smoking. I can't stand smoke. A hobby that makes you die. That's the equivalent of always carrying around a salt lick laced with a tiny bit of cyanide. Hey, what are you doing? Oh, nothing, just a hobby. Whoa, I'm getting kind of dizzy. What about the people that say they're going to quit, and you see them like an hour later with a butt hanging out of their mouth? I mean, what if Gandhi had that kind of willpower? I will not eat until there is complete freedom and independence. Is that a Butterfinger? What does the Surgeon General have to print to get his point across? Warning, if you do this, you will die. You know, die. Dead-o Rama, you won't be alive anymore. Unalive. You'll take a dirt nap. You'll be paying a personal visit directly to Elvis. It will be over. Your friends will no longer be able to visit you. Your mail will stop coming. You will be dead. Aerobics will be out of the question. Worms will have a new and sudden attraction to you. If you do this, you will die. It still wouldn't work. And you know why? Because they just say,
well, my grandfather smoked 3 packs a day, and he lived to be 93 years old.
Yeah, what they forget to tell you is he had one lung, breathed like a walrus, and couldn't tell you who he was. Boy, that's living.
Hey, this is Matt once again. We're back to another review. There's another Patreon review, this time for Rich, who wanted my thoughts on the 1991 film High Strung. Now, this was a bit of an interesting film because, first off, if anyone was ever interested in requesting pretty much any type of video, Patreon review, or, let me put it this way, if you want to request pretty much any type of video, movie topic, review, what have you, you can either join my Patreon or send the request directly to my PayPal, and both links are down below in the info box. If not, no worries, but if so, the links to both Patreon and PayPal are down in the info box. But High Strung, it's directed by the guy who directed Trekkies, which I enjoy. Those are Star Trek fan documentaries that are fun. Trekkies and Trekkies 2. I always thought they should have done a Trekkies 3. I don't know what the delay is, but I think that'd be very interesting in this state of Star Trek. Maybe that's why they don't do it, because they know it'd be highly divisive, but to me that'd be more interesting. But Trekkies 1 and 2 are really good. I believe the director is Roger Nygard, and it's written and stars Steve Oedekerk. Now, Steve Oedekerk, he has directed Jim Carrey and a couple films. I believe Ace Ventura When Nature Calls. He also did Kung Pao Enter the Fist, which I love. And This was a fun movie. Let me put it this way. This is a good version of The Telephone with Whoopi Goldberg. If you don't know my rant on The Telephone, check it out. It's on the channel. It's from years and years ago. Yes, it's an epic fucking rant. This is a terrible fucking movie. Whoopi Goldberg. Nah, nah, nah. Nah, nah, nah. Watch my review, you'll know what the fuck I'm talking about. Why do I compare it to that film? Because they're both one actor who... The entire film, they're in their apartment pretty much talking to themselves. But The Telephone, Whoopi Goldberg, and I love Whoopi Goldberg. I love Jumpin' Jack Flash, Sister Act, Ghost. But she was irritating. It had this stupid fucking ending where... Fuck, I'll spoil the ending Telephone. You realize it's been unplugged the whole time. So she's been literally talking to herself. And she goes crazy, kills the phone repairman, and starts talking on the phone again. Because she's nuts. This one, though, even though this guy is more of an angry character, he was more interesting of a character. Because he's this children's author, Steve Oedekerk, but he's always uptight. He rarely leaves his house. He only wants to eat cereal. And the whole movie is kind of him talking about how irritated he is about everything. He's irritated about his cereal. There's always too much milk left at the end. No matter how I measure it, there's always too much milk. He's irritated by the flies in his house, and there's like a POV of a fly, and he accidentally puts the fly in his mouth. And a lot of it is like him talking to the camera. Not with a microphone, but talking to it. He's irritated about stuff like, yo, watermelon popsicles, why do they have seeds in it? Because, yeah, when I think of what I want in a watermelon, yeah, I still want the seeds, huh? And you do see some recognizable people. You have Denise Crosby. Funny enough, would work with director Roger Nygard in Trekkies and Trekkies 2. This is probably how they met to do that project. He plays his boss's wife. Who's it? I gotta think about him for a second. Who's his upstairs neighbor? Jani Lane, the singer of the band Warrant. Yes, the band Warrant. The singer of that is in this movie. Is the upstairs neighbor that keeps playing his music too loud. Thomas F. Wilson from Back to the Future films as Biff from the original April Fool's Day. He's here as an uptight... No, he's not uptight. He's the really cool, laid-back buddy of our uptight character. Fred Willard is a door-to-door salesman. Jim Carrey, yes, Jim Carrey, before Ace Ventura. Yeah, I think this director did the sequel, When Nature Calls. Actually, I want to get that correct. I want to make sure. But Jim Carrey appears once in a while as this creepy, like, who is this guy? Appears as a face, making these rubber face looks. And you find out at the end that Jim Carrey is death. And he's come at like 8 p.m. to take this guy. Because, hey, you kept saying I would rather die. There's a limit. So now we don't take you. But, spoiler alert, the guy annoys death so many fucking times that he's like, fuck it, I'm bringing you back and I'm never coming back for you. Yeah, he directed Ace Ventura When Nature Calls. And he also did Nothing to Lose, which I reviewed, which I love. So, I looked at his filmography. He wrote High Strung, really enjoyed it. Then he directed and wrote Ace Ventura When Nature Calls, fun sequel. He directed Nothing to Lose, I really enjoy. Night Professor films he helped write, wasn't for me. You want to know my opinions? I reviewed them when I did my Eddie Murphy marathon. Compound to the Fist, I think it's hilarious. Oh, he helped write Bruce Almighty, that was fun. For a while, he's been trying to do a sequel to Compound, which I would love to have seen, but sadly that never happened. Sadly, he didn't do a whole lot other stuff. which is too bad. And you know what, for what type of character he's playing, he's not that bad of an actor. And what was fascinating is how they took a simple concept, stretched it out for 80-some minutes. It was cool to see all these other recognizable people pop in. And it was just interesting to see what he would complain about next. Like how he doesn't believe in real pets, because they're animals. And hey, if there's a food shortage, you're on the smorgasbord list. So I have this as a pet, as a cutout of a dog. Or he talks about the moral implications of cannibalism. He talks about how he's paranoid about bombs in the junk mail. He wrote these children's books like Who's My Daddy? And also How to Start a Family Car. Or about how this computerized phone keeps calling about carpets, and it's like, you know what? How about you die a miserable computer chip, choke on a mouse, and get into computer hell? Or he tells a Vietnam story, like a cliche Vietnam story, then he ends it with, man, I'm glad I was in grade school. So, of course, it never happened. Or he's watching TV, he's like, I love soap operas. I mean, how much worse can acting be? Or he complains about talk shows. Again, Denise Crosby comes by. He tells off the boss's girlfriend about how bitchy she is. Thomas F. Wilson comes by, and, you know, they're friendly with each other. And yeah, the lead singer of the band Warrant is in the film, and they have an arm wrestling match, and it doesn't end well. Jim Carrey's death, and he's like, you love this, and Jim Carrey's like, I love people. And the guy goes, aren't you supposed to wear a cloak? And Jim Carrey goes, well, that was a little fashion thing I was going through. I was very depressed. And yeah, the guy just complains to death so much. You know, not some rubber face. You know, how come I get this guy? I thought I was supposed to get death, not some rubber face limbo champion. And it ends on a good note. I had a lot of fun with this. I don't know if it'll be everyone's cup of tea, because again, it is one guy in his house. Once in a while, peripheral character pops in, has scenes with them, but mostly a lot of is him talking to the camera, going through his irritations throughout his life, his day. I think, in a way, I could kind of identify with him. Maybe that's why I enjoyed it. Because there are those days where you're just irritated by fucking everything. Like, there's not enough fucking here. This cup ain't too enough, not so fucking big. In a way, we could all make this kind of film. Surprise, people haven't made this kind of film more often. In fact, pretty much, my friends Mike, OCP, Michael Keane, Effrey, like, you all could make this film. And would probably be fun as well. Not even probably, it would be as fun. More fun, maybe. But I thought Steve Oedekerk did his job well. I thought it was rather entertaining. It made me chuckle from time to time. In a weird way, I can almost relate to the guy, which says a lot about me. And it shows what you do with simplicity and with no budget. And it was cool to see Jim Carrey in an early role. It's not a big role. Most of it's at the very, very end. But it was still nice to see Jim Carrey. Again, this was like 1991, so this is before Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. This is when he was on the show In Living Color. And yeah, it was nice to see a very early Jim Carrey. And Steve Oedekerk, you know, part of me wonders how, if this had starred Jim Carrey, I think this would be a much more well-known film. Because if Jim Carrey played this lead character, that would have been interesting. And in retrospect, part of me goes, maybe you should switch the roles up. Like Steve Oedekerk, he could play Death. And if Jim Carrey was the lead, I think you'd have really something special. Because Steve Oedekerk pulled it off. Jim Carrey would have been even that many more notches above. And this is like early, not crazy, not fucking where the fuck Jim Carrey is nowadays. This is early prime Jim Carrey. So to really give him room to just let loose. But maybe there'd be a downside. Maybe that would be more ad-lib and not the script, which I think the script is fairly good with what Steve Oedekerk says. So I don't know, would Jim Carrey have followed the script, or would he have gone to business for his own, so to speak? I don't know that. Again, I just would have been curious if Jim Carrey was the lead in this film. It definitely would be more well known because, hey, it's Jim Carrey, became a bigger star. With that said, I do like the film that we've got, and it's for free on YouTube. It's absolutely for free. Again, it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea because there's really not much of any locations, just the one place. Some people are not going to care to see any movie where it's just a guy pretty much talking, airing his grievances for 80-90 minutes, but I found it kind of different, refreshing, and like I said, way more better than fucking The Telephone. Like, this would be a good double feature. Watch The Telephone, see how bad that fucking movie is, then watch this movie. Two people, most of the time in one place. One is a lot cringy, and this one's a lot better. Again, you want to see my rant on The Telephone? Go to my channel, type in The Telephone, or go up there, type in The Telephone Whoopi Rant. You'll probably find me. Or type in Epic Rant, you'll find it. Wow, this is how you do it right. So, thank you to Rich for the recommendation. Thanks to everyone for watching. Again, if you're ever interested in requesting pretty much any type of video, you just send it directly to my PayPal or join me on my Patreon. Links are down in the info box for both of them. Thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.